Hi, I'm Melody King, Compliance Director here at Four Seasons. In the next few minutes, we're going to take a look at the rules that govern how we use or disclose patient information, and we're also going to talk about the role that you play in keeping this information safe. Our patients place a great deal of private information in our hands, and they trust us to keep it safe. Protecting this information is not only required by law, it's also a fundamental part of the excellent care that you provide every day. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, became law in 1996. It was later modified by the HITECH Act of 2009 and was further modified in 2013 by the Omnibus Rule. HIPAA ensures that health insurance coverage can continue when a worker changes jobs. It standardizes insurance forms so that various insurance carriers are all speaking the same language, and protects the privacy and security of patient information. HITECH then created incentives for healthcare organizations to use electronic medical records and made new requirements for reporting a breach of patient information. And the Omnibus Rule further ensures that the people that we do business with, anyone who handles our patient information, will also be held accountable to the same standards of privacy and security. So the focus of this presentation is the part of this law that is directly under your control, the privacy and security of patient information. This law is not optional. As a covered entity under this law, we must comply with all parts of the rule. We're going to take a look at what sort of information is protected under HIPAA. Let's start with a few definitions. Health information is defined as any information, whether oral, written, or recorded in any form, that is created or received by a healthcare provider and relates to the past, present, or future physical or mental health or condition of an individual. Health information can be used or disclosed by an organization. Information use is when protected health information is used within the organization. So we routinely exchange information about a client or patient in order to do our work. And disclosure is when it's released outside of the organization. We are permitted to use and disclose information for the purposes of treatment, payment, or operations. You may hear compliance folks abbreviate that to TPO. We can coordinate care with other providers, perform billing activities, and submit information in response to an audit or for required quality reporting. But unless it's for the purposes of treatment, payment, or operations, then in order to disclose protected health information outside of the organization, we need permission from the patient or their representative. And when we're using information to do our work, you're only going to use the minimum necessary amount of information that's needed to perform your job. For instance, you're not accessing information on someone who's not your patient. And two other terms that we often use are PHI and ePHI, which is protected health information and electronic protected health information, meaning that it exists in digital form. Keep in mind that protected health information is anything that can be linked to a specific individual. So let's look at some examples. All sorts of information can be considered protected health information. Someone's name, social security number, address, telephone number, medical record number, the name of a relative, date of service, date of birth, payment information, or any other information that can be connected to that specific individual. So if a receptionist at the counter of a doctor's office is overheard speaking with her coworker and says that the lady in the green dress is waiting to meet with the oncologist, and there's only one person in the room that meets this description, then that was PHI. So in any other scenario, a zebra striped handbag is not PHI. But if it's used in the same sentence as health information, then it just identified this patient. The reason I'm spending so much time on this is I'm often asked whether a patient's initials are considered PHI. And the answer is, it depends. Is there health information attached to the initials? If we confirm that someone's being cared for by Four Seasons, then we've disclosed protected health information. Anything that connects health information to a specific individual is PHI. You'll recall that disclosure of PHI is when we let it outside of the organization. So this nice lady walks up to the counter and says that she just wanted to drop by and see how her dear friend Margaret is doing and let the nurse know that she lives just around the corner, and if there's ever anything she can do to help Miss Margaret, we can just let her know. If we thank her and say that we'll let her know if there's anything she can do, then we've just disclosed that Margaret is indeed on service with Four Seasons. Regardless of how sweet and adorable this woman may be, We have to say that we're unable to confirm whether Margaret is on service with us. And if she truly loves Miss Margaret, she'll understand that what we're doing is protecting her. It's up to the patients and clients to decide if and when they would like to disclose the nature of their health condition. We use protected health information to do our jobs for team discussions, treatment, billing, performance improvement activities, and in many other ways as part of running the business. If you don't need that information to do your job, then you should not be accessing it. Information is accessed on a need-to-know basis, and we'll always use the minimum necessary information that's needed to do the job. We need authorization from the client, the patient, or the patient's representative if we're going to disclose PHI. And remember this, if you're entering someone's home, maybe the minister from the church is there. We should ask the patient, is it all right for me to speak freely about your care in front of your guest? Now the person you're caring for can make that determination for himself, whether he wants the pastor to know about the medications he's taking, or whether or not he's had a bowel movement today. It's not only the right thing to do to stay in compliance with the law, it's another way that you demonstrate respect for this person, their dignity, and their autonomy. Here are some common HIPAA pitfalls. Information left unattended on a printer or fax machine. Taking a call in a public place. Just let the caller know that you'll need to call them right back when you get to your car. What about an email hack? Please don't click on any link that's been emailed to you from an outside source. This could expose your computer to malware or a virus. Phishing attempts are when an email is asking you to log on to something and it looks like the site that it's spoofing, but now they have your password. If you have any questions about this, you can call the computer help desk for support or call me. Storing information on a flash drive or other non-approved mobile device. You're not to store information on anything nor use any app or software for work unless it's been approved by the HIPAA officer. Taking notes on a loose leaf piece of paper that later blows out of your car or is lost at the bottom of a purse until it pops out somewhere it shouldn't. Anything with PHI on it needs to make it back to the shred bins for disposal. Text messages with PHI. Now you can text your team talking about schedules, meetings, etc., but no PHI in a regular text message. You can use the Secure Text app or send a secure message through the medical record or make a phone call. Don't take pictures of your patients or clients on your cell phone, and do not post any information on any form of social media or other public forum. The marketing department does have a system for using someone's story on social media. This requires a special authorization from the patient or family, so reach out to me or to the marketing team if you want more information on that process. Don't share your passwords or post your passwords. Visitors, except to the Elizabeth House, should not be walking around Greatrix or the checkpoints. Access to these buildings is by key or badge access. Visitors should sign in and must be escorted through the building. So what happens if you lose your badge, your keys, or your laptop? Let's talk about that. Accidents happen. Sometimes they're unavoidable, like papers blowing out of your grip on a windy day, and sometimes it's simply a mistake, something you realize a little too late, or something goes missing and there really is no explanation. My job is to help make it right. And sometimes that means helping to track something down, make sure nobody else used your badge since the day you dropped it in the grocery store parking lot. The important thing here is that you have to let me know. The government understands that things don't always go the way we want them to. What they require is that we take the appropriate action after it happened. You've got to let us know so that we can show the government that we tried to fix it. Additional information can be found in Policies and Procedures, Best Practice Library, the Computer Help Desk, and from your supervisors and leaders, also from our company officers. If you have concerns, you can call the Anonymous Compliance Line. This goes to an outside organization which types up the question or information that has been called in and submits it to me by secure email. So no one from our organization will recognize the caller's voice, so this is truly anonymous. And then you would call back into that number if your information requires a response. Thank you for your attention to this presentation, and please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions.